Murder in the Cathedral, a verse drama written by T.S. Eliot and first performed in 1935, fictionalizes the martyrdom of St. Thomas Becket. The play explores the concept of individual agency in resisting authoritarianism during a time when fascism was gaining prominence in continental Europe. In real life, Thomas Becket was a close friend and chancellor of Henry II, but he chose to dedicate his life to the Catholic Church from a young age. Despite enjoying wealth and influence in the state, Becket decided to embrace a spiritual path and even led knights in battle alongside the king. Eventually, Henry proposed that Becket should assume the vacant Archbishopric of Canterbury, the highest church office in England, although Becket initially declined. He was aware that accepting this position would strain his friendship with Henry and possibly even lead to the king despising him due to Becket's determination to protect the rights of the church, which Henry had been encroaching upon. Despite his reservations, Becket was eventually elected to the role, as he had predicted, and his relationship with the king became tense. Once appointed, Becket lived a devout life, no longer valuing his former influence and friendships at court. He frequently clashed with the king over the balance of power between the church and the state. The final breaking point occurred in 1170 when Becket excommunicated the Archbishop of York and 2 other bishops for overseeing the coronation of Henry II's son, a privilege traditionally reserved for Canterbury. Enraged by this display of authority, Henry condemned Becket. Although the king's intentions may have been unclear, those present interpreted his words as an order for Becket's death. Becket, who had sought refuge in France and sought counsel from the Pope, made the decision to return to England despite being aware of the danger and even foreseeing his own imminent death. Upon his return, 4 knights rode to Canterbury Cathedral, leaving their weapons outside. They demanded that Becket accompany them on the orders of the king. When Becket refused, the knights retrieved their weapons and re-entered the cathedral. On December 29, 1170, they killed Thomas Becket and beheaded him. Edward Graham, a monk who was present, sustained an injury to his arm while attempting to defend Becket. His account of the murder greatly influenced Eliot's version of the events. Becket was canonized as a saint just 3 years after his death and is revered in both the Catholic and Anglican faiths. The play is divided into 2 parts, with a short interlude in between. Following the tradition of Greek drama, it begins with the entrance of the chorus, which serves as a narrator and passes judgments on the play's action. Half of the chorus consists of women seeking refuge in the cathedral from the growing danger and oppression of the state. The other half is comprised of priests who foreshadow the impending struggle. While Becket is seen as a good leader, they wish for him to remain in France and ensure his safety. However, Becket returns to the cathedral and urges the women to stay and witness the events to come. 4 tempters appear, each offering Becket a way to save his life or glorify his memory by compromising his true beliefs. The first tempter reminds Becket of the friends he once had at court and suggests that if he were to be less severe and relax his principles, he might escape his fate. Becket firmly refuses. The second tempter highlights the power Becket once held as the king's chancellor, proposing that he could regain such power without opposition. He continues to refuse the third tempter, who suggests Becket should overthrow the crown and grant the church supremacy over England. Similarly, Becket rejects the fourth tempter's proposition to pursue martyrdom for personal glory. He realizes that seeking personal fame through his own death would contradict his faith and dismisses the tempter. This scene alludes to the 3 temptations faced by Christ and foreshadows the arrival of the 4 knights who have been sent to kill Becket on behalf of the king. During the interlude, Becket delivers a sermon on Christmas Day, reflecting on the inherent conflict of a day that combines celebration and lamentation. This conflict is also applied to martyrs. Becket is acutely aware of his impending death. The second half of the play revolves around the murder of Thomas Becket by the 4 knights who arrived to carry out the king's orders. They justify their actions by explaining that they will not gain any personal benefits and will instead face exile. They claim that the king himself will mourn Becket's loss because he had elevated Becket to the archbishopric in hopes of uniting the powers of the church and the state. According to their account, it was Becket who sought supremacy and desired a martyr's death for himself. They conclude that his death should be seen as a self-inflicted act and depart, while the chorus mourns. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.